So today, the topic that we're going to be covering today is kind of like the more recent feature available on the Drupal 9 websites. If you have a content editing or content managing role, you're probably already familiar with, the basic call-out boxes, especially if you're working a lot, with your basic and your landing pages. So the reason that we're going to be covering these advanced call-out boxes today is to basically kind of go over why they're different, what they can offer you, what might be some of the limitations behind them. And we're going to kind of like demonstrate how to actually go about creating these boxes, in addition to some pretty good examples that we found that demonstrate some of the things you can actually create with these advanced call-out boxes. So getting right into it, what are the advanced call-out boxes? So these are like a new feature available all across our Drupal 9 standard sites. They're a tool that actually comes with more features and options and flexibility than your basic call-out boxes. So to my right here, we have like a quick example of what an advanced call-out box looks like. You've probably seen them already, but you may not have known what exactly they are or what exactly is the difference here. Moving on, what's the difference? Unlike your basic call-out boxes, your advanced call-out boxes let you add images. They let you add hyperlinks within, the text body here. They let you create anchors within them. And they also allow you actually to create like text fields, which the basic call-out boxes don't normally let you do. Additionally, they also, for mobile devices, they let you create carousels that let you kind of like scroll and click through multiple ones on the screen. And lastly, and I've already mentioned this before, your advanced call-out boxes are actually much more flexible. You don't necessarily need to create anything. You don't need to necessarily add anything like images or titles or links to make them actually functional. So after we've kind of like gone through what our advanced call-out box is, how are they different, what makes them a little bit more flexible, I'm going to cover really quick a live demonstration about how to actually create them. So we are on our test page right now, and we used this particular website to kind of create examples and test new features out. We have a basic page. And on this basic page, we actually have already two pre-made test advanced call-out boxes. We're actually going to go through how to actually make these ourselves. So first things first, we are already logged in. So we already don't have to, go through any of that. But for this, we are going to go straight to the edit box here. And as you can see, it already has a title and everything. This is already a pre-made page. We're not going to necessarily worry about our body text in this one, but I do want to scroll down. And when you see this little arrow here, we're going to have a few options to add a brand new column. Now for your advanced column boxes, you're required to either choose add columns 2 or add columns 3. So for this one, we are just going to go with add columns 2. So we do have like a field called a section title. Like this description says, you don't necessarily have to fill this out. It's actually not going to be displayed on the website, so your visitors will be able to see it. This is kind of just mostly for administrative purposes. So we are going to just simply call this the test field here. And we're going to scroll down next to the column content. And we're going to go to this arrow here. See our list. We already have our call box advanced. So we're going to select that. Like I said before, advanced call boxes are a much more flexible tool in Drupal. So you're not necessarily required to have like this body field or necessarily even a URL or link text, but we're going to basically fill most of this out anyway. First things first, we are going to go to the select images button here. And as you can see, I already have like a bunch of stuff filled out here. But for the most part, we're just going to settle with the newsletter spring image just because it's already saved. We're going to select that. Now, this is a very big point for accessibility. We're going to go to edit here because we want to make sure that there is a alternative text. Now, most of the preloaded images already do come with some kind of alternative text for screen readers. but oftentimes they're not necessarily the best. It's always a great practice to kind of make sure that whatever alternative text is in there is actually a pretty good description of what the image is. So given the fact that we picked a picture of Menhol Laboratory, we're just going to keep this as it is since it's pretty satisfactory. Again, that's just a major accessibility thing to keep in mind. So we're going to save that. And for our body text, we are literally just going to say, welcome to the College of Arts and Sciences. I'm going to scroll down a little bit more because we want to add the button now that works as like a working functional link. So for this, we're just going to, let's say, https://www.google.com, just to have something as a filler. And we are going to say, visit the College of Arts and Sciences in the link text. Then we're going to say, or actually going to preview it first. It's always a good idea to kind of preview everything before you hit that save button, no matter what. So we're going to scroll all the way down. Because this is in preview, it can also look a little more jumbled than it actually will be on the website. As you can see here, we basically have our first callout box, or advanced callout box, technically. It has our image. It has the alternative text for anyone using a screen reader. It has our filled out text field and a working link, although this actually just leads to Google. So we are going to go back and we're going to basically create a second one because we did create a 2-column field. So we're going to do these steps one more time just to kind of make sure that we're kind of comfortable doing everything that we need to in here. So we're going to go back to the column content arrow, add callout box, just like we did before. We're going to select another image. And we're just going to pick something here at random here. So we're going to go with the stadium. And again, for the accessibility purposes, we're going to go into edit just to make sure we have a good working alternative text. So Ohio Stadium, I guess in this instance it works, but we'll save that just for now. We'll just say Ohio State offers many different experiences to have on campus. And again, we're just going to put in the link to Google here just to have something that actually works and clicks. And we're going to say, visit campus. And we're going to preview that one more time. Scrolling all the way to the bottom. As you can see, we have 2 working advanced callout boxes here. And those are kind of the steps you actually just need to really take to create them. They're not the most difficult things in the world to make. But I just kind of wanted to go over the steps a couple times just to make sure it's kind of clear what that process is. And mostly also going to kind of like really drive home the point on accessibility, especially with the alternative text, which is a pretty major thing. So we're going to come back to content editing. We're not going to save any on this, even though it's just a test website. And that pretty much concludes the live demo. We're actually going to cover a bit of a showcase now. So on this example website, I kind of took it upon myself to kind of create a carbon copy version of the About page on the College of Arts and Sciences. This isn't an exact one-for-one copy. So a lot of the images and links on here are going to be pretty different than what you're going to see on one of the websites that we're currently working on. So I'm kind of wanting to show you this website because I want you to see how creative you could actually get with these advanced callout boxes. So I'm going to scroll down here. So technically what we have right here before us is an advanced callout box. And this one has a little bit more steps to create. Now, this is a pretty large image and everything like that. And there's some scrolling ones too that allow you to carousel. But stuff like this can actually take up a pretty large section of space on your website. And this is a pretty great working example too. So if we were to click this link here, it would actually take us to a separate page. We're going to scroll down a little bit more. We have some tabs here, but everything we see here, there's some like lorem ipsum text. But yeah, these are actually some more examples of call-out boxes that can actually be pretty useful in breaking and chunking up information on your website. Whether you kind of want to focus on, the college's scholars, instructors, scientists, you want to kind of highlight information about, research that's being done, or you kind of want to focus more something with the arts. These advanced call-out boxes are kind of great to kind of like direct your visitors' attention to that specific information on your website. And because, they offer a lot more features than your basic call-out boxes, you can kind of embed working hyperlinks that go to different parts of the website, to certain examples like this research one does. You can also focus on other parts of your website as well. But that's just some of the things the advanced call-out boxes are very useful for. And here are some pretty good examples of advanced call-out boxes that don't necessarily need images to actually work. For example, this is pretty great at highlighting some of the educational resources that the College of Arts and Sciences has, and some of the workforce development opportunities available at the college that is being highlighted pretty well with these advanced call-out boxes. And as you can see, the one on the right here doesn't actually have the link or button. So sometimes these advanced call-out boxes are pretty great just as working as text fields if you want to use them as that. And as you can see, this itself is actually, I believe, one more advanced call-out box, or I could be mistaken. I think this is actually something completely separate.
Or just 2 columns.
Just 2 columns, yeah. I had a feeling that it might not be the case. But for the most part, yeah, those are some pretty great examples of how you can get creative with the advanced call-out boxes that can be useful for highlighting some resources available with your department or a part of the college that you work for, highlighting any information. And you can get, like I said, you can get pretty creative with them. But for the most part,
go ahead. I was going to say one little thing to add is if you make a 3-column section and you add 4 call-out boxes, you will get little arrows that will let you scroll through them. We call that carouseling. So you can actually create something that people click through. If you want to do something you have 6 things you want to highlight, you can do that by having additional, and you just keep adding boxes and it'll automatically create those arrows for you.
Right. It kind of works very similar to these. It requires different steps, right? But it pretty much kind of functions very similar to like the slideshow on a lot of landing pages that you see, right? At the very top, where you can kind of like scroll through, and they can kind of be really useful at containing links or more information for your website that you want to highlight. But that's another thing you can do with the advanced call-out boxes. That's not something that's necessarily demonstrated very well on here, but that is something to kind of keep note on. And that kind of really speaks to like how flexible these things actually pretty are. For the most part, I think that actually covers our live demonstration and our showcasing of examples.
So this paragraph type. So when you're doing advanced layout things at the very bottom, which is what Zach's been demonstrating, this is available. This advanced callout box type is available on basic pages as well as landing pages. So you can use those in both locations. The only difference is that landing pages let you do a 4-column layout up to like a 1, 2, 3, or 4-column layout. And basic pages stop at 3-column because it gets a little too crowded with the sidebar. So that is there. Are there any questions? Thank you, Zach, for presenting that.